Hi guys, welcome back to The Forgetful Scholar, and this week we're gonna chat about 2 books. I did it! I read 2 books this week. Round of applause. Thank you. A cozy mystery and a paranormal sapphic romance contemporary. Yes. This week's been pretty good. I'm going to talk about the cozy mystery first because it just came out, so I'm probably going to talk about it less because I don't want to give spoilers away because a mystery, right? Oops, sorry. So it's Vera Wong's Guide to Snooping on a Dead Man by Jessie Q. Sutanto. So 5 stars. This was 5 stars. I haven't read this is book 2. I haven't read the first one yet. I couldn't find it in my local bookstores when I was hearing about it, and then I, was going to do like a Kindle of it, but then I looked at the price of the Kindle. I was like, no. So I've been kind of waiting for it to pop up in like half price books and things like that. But then I saw the second book in my local shop and I was like, you know what, let's do it. I really want to read in this world. I've heard good things. Let me give it a try, right? And I freaking love it. Do I like the cover? No. But Vera, I love her so much. Okay, so, and especially since this is book 2 and I haven't read book 1 yet, I didn't feel lost. I understood what was going on. There was like a brief recap of the first book. It was seamlessly put in. It wasn't jarring at all, and I thought it was well done. It was like 3 sentences. If you read this book before the first one, you will find out who the murderer is for the first book. And if you don't want that spoiled, then I would wait and like read this chronologically, not like me. I don't care. I still want to read the first one just to see like how Vera gets to the answer of the murder. You know what I mean? And I love cozy mysteries, first of all, but like found family is like my favorite. I love found family. So Vera, she lives in the San Francisco Bay Area. She is in her 60s. She is Chinese. Her son is a lawyer, and it seems like from bits of this book that the first book she was really, really lonely until, in her words, good luck happened and she found a dead man in her tea shop. And I was like, Vera, so perfect. She runs a tea shop in like looks like Chinatown kind of area. Her husband died quite some time ago, so she was lonely until the first murder investigation, the first book happened, and she seemed to have just swept up other lonely people in her wake, and they're a found family, and it's lovely. And they in this book they have dinner together every week at her son's place, and it's phenomenal. I love that. I love found family. So this murder investigation is a little interesting because unlike other cozy mysteries, the main character, and I love amateur sleuth. I love that. Unlikely sleuth. I love it. Feisty old ladies. I love it even more. So is it a wonder this is 5 stars? Okay. So there is no murder scene, or she doesn't come upon a dead body for her to like find clues or anything. A friend of the person who is murdered or deceased, she sort of asks Vera for help. It's sort of like Vera sees that she looks lost, grabs her, takes her to her tea shop, and then somehow gets her to admit that she's worried about her friend that is missing. So that's how this starts off, right? There was this one part where Vera gets scammed, like a phone scam, And I thought, oh, this is just a way for her to go to the police department to meet Millie, who is the friend of the missing person, to kind of meet up and, but no, it actually comes back later. So I thought that was fun. You get a lot of POVs in this, mostly Vera's, but you also get POVs in the murder suspect, like it's interesting. It's very interesting. They all have guilty consciences. They all are hiding a secret. Some of them bigger than others, some of them more emotional than others. there is one, like, this is the moment that was like 5 stars. I love Vera. Ride or Die, Vera Wong, I love her. Is this one suspect. His name is TJ. He's a single father of a young 13-year-old girl, Robin. Been a single father since she was born. He is a influencer talent manager. And at first I'm like, I bet he's a sleazebag. He's not. He's actually a really nice person. I'm not gonna say who the murderer is at all, but he's a really nice person. And Vera's sort of became a TikTok famous in this book. It's a whole journey, and I loved every second of it. So she's like, you will represent me, and he's like, I guess. He gets called away for the school on an emergency because of his daughter. He goes, and Vera jumps in the car, tags along, and Vera's a very strong personality, right? So TJ's like, okay, I guess. Like, he doesn't have brain width to deal with Vera, and because he just wants to get to Robin, right? His daughter Robin. Now the principal is like, what are you doing here, miss? She's like, Robin's my granddaughter. What do you mean, what am I doing here? Like, completely blindsides both of them. And basically the principal was going to suspend Robin because she wasn't wearing a bra. And Vera just lays into him, rightfully so, like, who's staring at a little girl's chest so long that knows that she's not wearing a bra? Huh? Like, completely just goes to war with this principal, and she wins, which is great. And she tells Robin, no, you call me grandmother. And she means it. And she takes Robin to go buy a bra, and like, they do, like, that's it. Robin's her granddaughter now. And like, I freaking loved it so hard. Like, I was like, Vera, I love you, 5 stars. This was it's such a sweet, wholesome story, even though it's like centered around a murder, like a death. Like, it's insane. Now, because there's not like a dead body or a scene to actually get physical clues from, it's basically like Vera talking to people and getting them to spill to her, and she's following leads like that. So I will say, like, you know how I do with mystery, like, if the murder and the clues add up, like, if you read it once, you find out who it is, and then you think back on it, and oh, there's clues all along. I think it did a really good job, because there are little hints in conversations here and there what's really going on. At one point, I was like, okay, yikes. So you do get it. Like, you get what's going on. The third act conflict, it was so good. I wish it was a little bit more on, well, at first I thought it wasn't going to be, because Vera's at the scene, but her son's not letting her interfere with the arrest. And I was like, oh, okay. But then we get a POV from one of the people getting, I guess, saved, I guess would be the closest. I don't want to give too much away. And then I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Confrontation on the page. Love it. But this found family is so cute, and Vera is so cute. She said something that I was like, oh, this is definitely one of the writers, family members has said this before, because this sounds like this is just too much. Like, oh, yeah. As someone who has a lot of relatives that are in that age bracket, I'm like, oh yes. The author definitely has a family member who has said that to her, probably multiple times, because, oh yes. That sounds familiar. Vera sniffs. Oh, is very old. Any day now I will die, which is why I always say to my family, treat me well. And I'm like, I have, you know, the amount of times I heard the Puerto Rican version of this? I'm like, oh boy. I was like, yep. That is a real life quote. I'm almost positive that's a real life quote. But I will say 5 stars. The mystery was fun. Vera, hilarious. She has this frenemies relationship with the bakery next door. Her name's Winifred. Oh man, do they go at it? And I'm like, Team Vera, screw you, Winifred. And it seems at the end of this book that maybe her and Winifred are gonna take a trip to Paris, which I'm like, and Vera's like, oh, you better not. Vera's like, I don't know if I could go to Paris. And then Selena, the police detective, is like, well, there's murders in Paris. And she's like, oh, I will go to Paris, but if I don't find a dead body, I will be very upset. I was like, Vera. And this book does handle like loneliness in a very interesting way, and how Vera kind of fell into routine, and because of that, that's how she became so lonely. And I'm like, oh, you know. So 5 stars. I am obsessed. I love it. I can't wait till the first book comes in, because I did finally find it on Half Price Books, and I got it. So can't wait. So I love it. New cozy mystery series. Yes, please. So the second book is the supernatural contemporary sapphic romance Rise and Divine, The Witches of Thistle Grove, Book 5 by Lana Harper. This was a 3 stars. So I love romance. I do. You guys know for a while, secondhand romances, can't stand. And what is this? A secondhand romance. Well, technically it's like a third chance romance. It's between Dash and Ivy. So, and apparently they broke up and they got back together and broke up again. And this is where before this book even starts. So in Thistle Grove, there are 4 family of real witches, and the normies have no idea. I love the magic system. It is so much. So there are the Hawthorns, who are apparently descended from a demigod, and their powers are more subtle. They sort of filter the magic from the lake that the 4 families swore fealty to them. Okay, there's a little bit more to it, but like, it's interesting. So I recommend reading the series. The Blackmores, who are descended from Lady Morgana Le Fay, supposedly, they do a whole Camelot thing. It's okay. It's cute. I like them. They're elementalists. And Nina and Morty, Nina's romance, she's a Blackmore. Her romance is book 3, 5 stars. Her and Morty, love them so much. Oh my gosh, perfect. No notes, phenomenal. Then there's the Thorns, and they have green life magic, and they own an orchard, and they can make plants grow, and I find their family is a little bit more of the boring side, but it's because so far until this book, the Thorns have been kind of like goody two-shoes, one-dimensional a little bit for me. Ivy isn't. She seems a little bit more well-rounded, a little bit more thought, like, just she feels more third dimensional to me, so I like her. Their magic is on the boring side, but they're healers, and sometimes the kids charm morning glories to like sing pop music in their private garden. Like, it's fun stuff like that. I do find their like god tree in their orchard interesting. She was in the second book. Yes, the second book, and I really enjoyed that part. Like this ancient tree that kind of, is half sentient and talks to the Thorns. Really interesting. But I'm going to try to pronounce the last name. The Amorphs. They are descended from Baba Yaga, and they are necromancies. Their magic system is so interesting. Each one of them, so interesting. So like the first book, the Amorph, she is like a really powerful medium, and they all have red garnets that they wear to keep them safe from being possessed. Hers broken. She got possessed by like 1,000 ghosts. Interesting. The second Amorph we see, to fight off panic attacks, she summons demons. I know, but like reading it, for some reason you're like, okay, that makes sense. It isn't until you're done with the book, but like, what the heck did I just read? And in this book, so Dasha showed up book 4 because Ivy's best friend, it was Delilah's book, she got possessed. So Dasha showed up because she is, this is so freaking cool, a devil eater. Like, I was like, what? When she showed up in the last book, I was like, please tell me the next book is about Dasha, because I need to know. And it is. So yeah, I'm like, yes. Because what? So like, I didn't even really give a shit about the romance. Romance is my favorite genre. I cared about Dasha and her abilities and what the heck is going on. And this book did answer, because there's only 4 magical families, and it answered like, what if like a thorn and a hawthorn had a baby? What happens with that baby? Like who? So in this, each like a child of like a Amaroth and a Blackmore, which is Dasha's niece. Her father is Blackmore, and her mother, her sister, is an Amaroth. Probably still pronouncing that wrong. So when the child presents their magic, it's either, you know, from the Blackmore magic, an elementalist, or the Amaroth and a necromancy. And the nieces has Amaroth magic, and because of that, her last name is Amaroth. I was like, oh, so that's what happens, right? So Dasha, her mother was a Hawthorn, and her father was Amaroth. So her magic presented as necromancy, so she's an Amaroth. But her having Hawthorn blood is really important in this book, which I thought was interesting. But her father kind of knew already, because like when she was born with like a hood. And I was like, ooh, interesting, because there are a bunch of folk tales about children born with hoods. I think it's like the afterbirth that's over their head. Like in obviously modern times, we're like, okay, it's just, you know, as long as the baby's fine, it's nothing supernatural. But like back in the day, some people would think that was like when a Sturgoy was born or a vampire was born. Like it's really interesting, some of the folk tales surrounding that. So Dasha was born with a hood, and that kept her, means that like, so the father knew she was an Amaroth magic, and she, not only is she connected to, like, not only does she have death magic, but she's so connected to the other side that she could go in to the afterlife, like astral project to the afterlife as easy as you and I blink, you know? And the afterlife is so interestingly described and fascinating, how like the problem in our world is affecting that world. Like, I don't know if I'm explaining that right. So at one point they're having a celebration. It's like founding of the town kind of celebration. These books always surrounded like a fair or something important celebration with one of the families. And as one of the stoners that was visiting, goth angel dude. So this Titan naked dude with wings tried to break through the veil between the living and the dead. You know, and because of what Dasha is, a devil eater, the Amaroths did their most powerful banishing, and they used Dasha as the focal point because she's so connected to the world of the dead. And she got hooked in and got sent to the afterlife with the Titan. And it was such an interesting scene, interesting moment, because like Dasha's gay, right? But the god, I guess because he's a deity, like he almost seduces her, you know? So that was kind of interesting. And then the head of the family hooked Dasha and dragged her back, right? And it's interesting because Dasha doesn't want to be here. She suffered so many losses in her life, and it's so easy for her to go to the afterworld, and she feels so alive there, when here she doesn't feel alive. It's presented like an addiction. And I thought that was so well done and so interesting. And then there's Stranger that Dasha meets, and she has this instant feeling to protect her. I'm like, hello, these two things are connected. But Dasha was like, doopy doopy doo. Anyway. And along the way, her and Ivy connect again and decide to try it for a third time. But this time is different because Dasha is honest with Ivy, where before she wasn't. She wasn't honest about her, basically, addiction to the afterlife. But it's so cool when she like the first chapter, she eats a Cthulhu demon, and it's described as something awakens inside of her with an unstoppable hunger. And I was like, what? Please explain. I want to know more about that. And I will say the biggest critique I have is I want to know more about that. It doesn't exactly go into great detail, which makes sense because how else are you going to describe it or talk about it? But I was like, that is so cool. You know, it really is. The ending, it's a good ending. It kind of felt like almost an end, and I hope not, because I do enjoy, overall, I am enjoying The Witches of Thistle Grove as a series. Right now, I would probably give the series overall like a 4, you know? So I'm liking it. So I hope that's not the end, but like the end kind of something like, it was kind of like a finite end, because there was something kind of brewing over all the other books, and it kind of collided with this one and got resolved in a really crazy way. And of course, Dasha, with her devil eating powers, was at the center of it. So cool. Again, if you like second chance romances, you probably give this a much higher rating than I did. It's just the romance bothered me. Like, well, it didn't bother me. I found it boring. And considering this is a romance book, you know, but everything else was so much fun. And again, the only reason the romance bore me is because second chance romances always bore me. I just, they're just, I don't know. They just don't hit that, they don't hit that itch. You know what I mean? They just don't hit for me. But if you like it, this would probably be easily a 4 or maybe even a 5 for you. I don't know. If you read it and you like second chance romances, let me know what you give it. But the magic system alone is so much fun in this series. So if you like death magic, definitely give this a shot. So cool. And like the way she, like, it's described how she eats oh, it's so cool. I was like, I want more of that, please. That is so interesting. Okay. I don't want to, but it's time for me to get back to the real world. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye.